I think it's like don't worry about that. But I'm saying literally it's about that 7 seconds for people that don't know you, right? They don't know you, and then in 7 seconds they'll assess: do I want to do business with them or not, right? And I feel like that if you were to walk into a room now, that would be a positive.
I reckon the room
that would be a
like,
positive reaction.
And my question, right, if you're going in to see some executives, you're wearing this versus what you used to wear, how much more confident would you feel?
Oh,
Yeah? Would you?
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah?
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, levels above to where I would normally.
And that's the same. It's the same with what I do.
You're
too.
right. Like I wouldn't think twice.
About just walking in,
I just walk
say
in.
what you
Hey,
need to
there you
say.
go.
Well, I sometimes like I put it as a like when you're tipsy, you're drinking a little bit, and you're like extra confident, or everything. Everybody says yes to you, right? So then, I mean, like that's literally how I compare. Because then, I mean, as an 18-year-old, that's who I was. I was even wearing suits at the nightclub or something, but still dancing hip hop. But like I'm still a millennial.
Actually, I did hear some news. I did read it.
Did you?
Yes, about Bruno doing some dance.
I will be doing some dancing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you coming?
Nice.
I'm going to come watch.
Are you gonna come?
I'm going to book a table.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's
So I'll be doing so I'm doing this. I'm doing this thing.
He's got some
You know
dance
it?
move. No, he doesn't.
Oh
know
yeah,
it.
yeah. So it's a thing like it's like Dancing with the Stars, but like in Brisbane.
Oh, wow.
So they call it Dancing CEOs. So I'll be literally on stage, like solo act, like dancing in front of like hundreds of
Yes.
people.
That's
excellent.
confidence, right?
Do you want to come and dance with me?
No, I'm actually. If you're looking for a choreographer, have you got a choreographer yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna go meet him today. Actually, funny enough that you asked. Yeah. I got my own choreographer.
Yeah, that's good. And
But
do
I'm
you know
looking
what's
for fundraising help though, like, cause that's the thing that I don't know
Yeah.
how to do. So
Well, I'm actually.
We'll talk.
We'll talk and we'll get
Yeah?
behind you because we want to organise some tables to come and see you.
oh, cool. So Jacqueline, let's go back to you. I want to know
Brutal.
more. I want to know more. So the only reason why I want to go to you is because you mentioned, being a single mother. So it's Dancing CEOs, and we support Women Legal Services. Yeah, that they help women victim of domestic violence.
Yes.
So it's I wanted to get behind a good cause for ages. So then when this came across, I was like,
Yeah.
like I'm
This is
in.
it.
Is there a reason why you chose that one particularly?
No, not in particular. It was literally more of a wanting to get behind, like a cause. Because I think in business, it's very important to give back, and we're back. Yeah, give back and build service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I felt like in the past years I've been working so hard on the business and in the business, and the service that I was giving I've been paid for. So I wanted to give without being paid. So I felt it on the inside that I needed to do something.
But that's something that, going back to becoming a business person,
Yeah.
the difference between being an employee, and I'm not saying like employees still have to think about this, but as a business builder, you have to primarily think of other people first, because it's not, if you're not considering your product, your client, and your employees, if you're not thinking about them as individually and collectively, then that doesn't come back to you.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
That's right. If you're putting out suits that aren't up to scratch, or your client's not happy, they're coming back, right?
Yeah.
So that's also about how you're thinking about that, and then philanthropy comes on the back of that as well.
Yeah.
Being able to give back to society, and I think that's where, again, the big difference between business builders, the attitude. Some people think, they've got it made, as an employee. It's all peaches and roses.
No.
Not at all.
We're like
Not at all.
ducks with the feet going under the water.
Yeah. I know that, for example, to me, like they've been, everybody's just like, oh, you've been to Bali, you've been to Sydney, you've gone to the States. I was like, Yeah, like I'm working. Like I'm working.
Do you see business very relevant to sports and athletes, and how, you know, you're training every single day, pretty much, you know, your majority of your day is about training your craft, your art, your sport, and getting better and better and better, and, you know, like you just have to keep training to get, you know.
Yeah, well, I didn't look at business like that before. Like when I started, there's this awesome book, it's called like the E-Myth Revisited, and if you guys read it, you got the specialist, technician, manager, and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I started as a technician. So like I was working, was doing really good and doing well what I was doing, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna start a business because I'm so good at it. And then I didn't know how to be a manager, I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. So that's how it started, right? But then as I remember, like my wife, she was like, I'm sure there will be other people that are going through the problems that you're going through. Like you're not the first. Educate yourself, start reading, right? So that's how I started reading, and then that's how little by little I went through the manager and entrepreneur role into like understanding it. But to answer your question, yes. So then when I understood that it was about training, then everything changed.
Yeah.
So
I also really appreciate how much value you put into your relationship and your marriage. Like, it sounds like she's a very good person. Like,
she's awesome.
She's like the, you know,
the best.
The best.
She is the best. She's the best. I'm telling you, I punched above my, how do you say, above the belt or something?
Yeah. Punching above your weight.
Above my weight. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she's awesome, and I'll just tell it very quickly. It's like a story, like how I met. So we went dancing. And that was like, I don't know, 15 years ago in West End. If anybody remember, it was like the Uber bar, like in West End on Bandra Street. And I saw her across the room, but I didn't go and say hi. Like I saw her, but I didn't go. And then like a couple of days later, there was like a Latin dancing night. Yeah. Dame Reggaeton, I don't know if you heard of it. And I saw her again, and I went straight to talk to her. I was like, nah. Yeah. And then I went and then talked to her in Spanish. Yeah. Because it was like Latin dancing. I was like, oh, she must be Latina or something. So I talked to her in Spanish, and I was like, you know, what's her name? And she was like, guess. And I was like, Angela?
Get out of town.
I guessed the name.
Well done.
Yeah. I guessed the name. And then, and then that's it. And then I got her number. And then, you know, the boys will understand. I waited 3 days before calling her because, you know, it's the rule. Like, don't be too needy. No messages the same night. You know, the Italian way, you gotta wait like 3 days, and then that's it. That was the beginning of the story. Nice. So let's go back to you. You think you dodged it?
Yeah,
right?
You're like
Bruno's excited. He's gonna talk about his wife. And no, for all of the women out there. So you spoke about two things that I would like to touch with you specifically, right? One of the things you said it before outside of camera. It was about you hated being boxed into the gender, you know, woman, fragile, delicate in business, number one. Yeah. And number two, the other thing I wanted to touch on is that you did talk about being a single mother and in business. And, you know, there's so many out there that, you know, they're wishing and they're looking for a different life for themselves. So I wanted for you to share like a couple of the philosophy that helped you out of that state of limitation, like as a single mother, instead thinking of yourself as a businesswoman.
Yeah, all right. Yeah? So I generally work in time frames. So I'll go back to the first question where you're talking about, you know, being pigeonholed into, you know, being a female or a damsel in distress. Yeah. I've worked in construction and manufacturing, which is male-dominated industries, for, 20 years of my career. I worked for Boral Construction Materials and was deployed in there on an assignment to help with their cultural issues and challenges that they were having in the industry. And one of my biggest value assets is getting to the core root of problems. And I was able to identify by engaging with the workers at a core roots level, like on the ground, on hot asphalt, which is like over 200 degrees Celsius and hot sun, and going, same thing, like, what do you want to do? Like, and trying to find out what their barriers were. 70% of the workforce couldn't read or write. Like,
Wow.
who had come from, harsh backgrounds where, their level of discipline that they received from their, dad, so to speak,
Yeah.
might be a backhand or,
Yeah.
like they had come from the school of hard knocks, and then just finding out what their barriers were and providing the education pathways to be able to, if you can't read or write, stress, I can scribe for you because you're the expert in your industry. I'm not here to tell you how to do your job. I'm just here to help you do your job.
Yeah.
More of what you love, right?
Yeah.
I've been really respected in my industry and in my field. So I haven't experienced that in that environment. However, I have experienced diversity issues where perhaps, people don't have the level of education around respect for relationships and things like that. So that's not to say that I haven't been pigeonholed as some damsel in distress at some point where someone hasn't listened to my value. But majority of the times I get frustrated about people going, it's their fault, it's his fault, it's her fault, it's a she fault, it's a him or her fault. It's like, no, it's an us fault. Like, we just have to have better respectful relationships and find out what value each person brings, and then, work together for a common goal. Like, just stop talking about all the crap and get on with it.
I think right now, for me, and this is a now thing that's happening in my business, I know that whenever there's some issues, and there are a lot of issues, right now, Angela is always referring to a system problem versus my problem, like it's my fault. She said, no, it's a system problem. We can fix it.
Yes, absolutely. So, but there's also self-regulation, like you guys were talking about control before. You have to come to the point of self-regulation and to be able to go, yes, I could have done this better, or, rather than looking at what you are, look at what you're not, and kind of building your bridges and pathways to gain the success in that area. But then going to a point where, our family had received a basket of lemons over during COVID and before, which just led to us to a point where I became a single mum and we decided to go our separate ways for various reasons. That, I found myself down at the bottom of the barrel again and going, how am I going to get out of this? Like, this is just exhausting, it's tiring, but it was for the best outcome for everybody to take that pathway.
Yep.
Finding that inner strength and going, you know what, I am not going to be a statistic on a piece of paper that says that, I can't do X, Y, Z. Like, there's people out in social media at the moment, like high profile people saying that there are no such thing as independent women. Or like, and I'm not a feminist, like I enjoy working with all types of people, and this isn't coming from an anti-people.
Yeah.
It's more of a like, why don't we just build a system that supports growth, supports people's values, and then work together to be able to come across common goals. Like, to me, it makes sense.
So then you, as a woman in the workplace dominated by men, what are the things...
Well, they're not dominated by men. We work together.
That's it. Yeah. Working together with men.
Yeah.
What are the things, I don't know, like could you come up with like 3 things that helped you like over the line and thrive, like first survive and then thrive?
Like I said to William, I was like, what has it been like working with meetings like this? Like, it's been hard work, but kind of going, just calling out the bullshit and going, well, yes, you could think like that, like, or perhaps you could see it from a different point of view and a different lens. But, and knowledge has been my pathway. So I'm a learner all the way through. But then I've got to the point now where the decisions have given me value from an equity stake. So having the balance of knowledge and equity has been able for me to see things from a broad perspective, because I'm no longer surviving or struggling. I'm at the point now where I can go, okay, I've got my chessboard. I can start playing the game that I choose to play through data-led decisions. So I'm not controlling anyone's outcome. I go, these are the choices that you've got based on data and information that we have on hand. You can continue going down that trajectory, which doesn't look good at a local or an economic point of view, or we can change the train direction and direct it fairly quickly if we do X, Y, Z. Here's a pathway. It's your choice to kind of, do you want to go down that train line, or do you want to go of destruction?
Yeah.
Or do you actually want to create a new pathway, a new system
Yeah.
that is going to meet the outcomes?
And because you guys work
Sorry,
in...
I think it's really important, open communication. Jacqueline and I, pretty direct at times, but it's not about each other, it's about the subject. And I think that's not talking about the person, it's about either something that's happening or be specific about the subject. We were texting last night, and you and I will have a discussion, and I think it's also about not coming across as, and this is, I guess, a touchy subject.
Say it how it is.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Spit it out.
Get it out! Get it out!
The business person and a female comes across and starts talking about being a female.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got walls up. If they're just acting like a business person,
Yeah.
then they're a business person. I will treat them as a business person. But if they're presenting themselves as a woman, that creates a separation rather than a collaboration.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the business.
Yeah,
That
but
makes
even,
sense.
I mean, our coach, like JT Fox,
Yes,
says
yes.
the same.
Absolutely.
It's like you're not like a businesswoman, you're a woman in business.
Yeah, I'm a
Yes.
business.
Right?
I'm just like a business person.
That's it.
I don't
Yes,
mind
yes.
getting called a businesswoman. I don't care. But
Yeah,
I'm a person who
In
loves
business. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
actually where MEX comes from. If you like Google my name, Jacqueline
Yeah.
Marquis MX,
Emma.
it's
Tell us.
pronounced MEX.
Pronounced
But like
Mex.
MEX. MEX is kind of like, well, there's two reasons for like MEX. MEX is like, because I'm a bit of a geek in gaming, and so MX in gaming
That's not how I describe
is
it.
computing science and messaging. Just Google it, it's easy for me to describe. The other aspect is me kind of just going, I don't want to be defined. I'm like, my name is Jacqueline Marquis,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. And we've dealt with quite a few high-end top 1% business people, right? And we can have the same conversations around a table,
Yeah.
but they're not talking about women in business.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
But those businesswomen having that conversation, they're showing that they're business people. It's the same with a business person.
Yeah.
Show you're a business person.
First.
Don't try to tell everybody you're a business person.
Yeah. What do you mean?
well, because like,
Go for it.
I think it's Taylor.
yeah.
No.
No. So, like, you've got TK Maxx, which you could go to TK Maxx and go and get yourself something, right? And get yourself kitted out. But it wouldn't do the justice.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
It's the opposite.
No, okay.
It's the complete
What
polar
do
opposite.
you think?
I
Yeah.
like Bruno.
Something cool, but
Like-
I don't know. Bruno's pretty
Bruno's
cool.
Bruno,
Nice.
like
It's
Bruno's,
pretty cool. I
Bruno's
like
very,
Bruno.
yeah.
There was a time in my life that I was going by my second name, Alejandro, but Bruno's good too.
I like Falcone. The
Falcone.
Falcone.
Yes, oh yeah,
There you go.
Falcone.
That's Falcone.
That's your hand.
Falcone is my name.
Falcone.
So you went out of that mindset. It's like, why I don't want to be a statistic when I get out of it.
You
So
know,
for
yeah.
all of the women out there, they're in the same situation. Just
Yeah.
get it. Like,
So one of the changing points for me was like, okay, what do I actually want to do? I want to be a well-known author, right? I want to be able to write. I have so much knowledge and life experience. Like, I was partying with Heath Ledger 3 weeks before he died. And I've had a tapestry of lifeful events, and I wanted to be able to write about that. And then I'd met William, who was a concreter, and his story and some of the things that he's kind of done. And I saw that as an opportunity
writing a
to
book.
write. And so I was like, okay, well, if I want to write, I want to be able to make sure that business is taken care of. So I've got to build an engine where I can kind of, not be in it and it just runs itself. So we're at that point now. And so on the card is writing a book about everything that we're kind of talking about today. And that's called Big Daddy's Bible.
Love it. It's about William.
It's actually about him.
You're looking at yourself in the mirror, and you're wearing a suit on the mirror, but then your concrete outfit on the other side. But anyways, so tell me one controversial, like, life lesson.
Oh, wow. Well,
What does Steve teach you? Your mate,
Steve.
Papi and Steve. So these are all his like workmates. They've all got their own
workmates,
different character. You've got Papi, you've got his mate Steve.
Because while you're thinking about it, we're talking to a entrepreneur, very successful entrepreneur that went from drug dealing and being an addict to a very over 7-figure business. What is a good lesson?
Don't be afraid to listen to people just giving you some advice. Yeah? Don't be afraid from it.
Yeah.
And if they pull you up and say, listen, you don't know everything, don't be afraid to listen.
Yeah.
Can I ask, on the other side of that, what gets in the way of that?
Being a man, probably.
Overconfidence.
Bit of pride?
Pride.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I've been in the same place.
And like good mates around you, like really, really good friends who will actually, if they were in trouble, bang, you'd be there.
I think
and they'd return that favour to you.
I think before when Jacqueline was talking about how you guys met at the beginning and how you were building on that relationship together, you said something about, you, William, being surrounded by a different crowd. And I think that had an effect on you. So it's sometimes the one thing that it seems sometimes it sounds easy, but it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
It is to find yourself around the right crowd. And the way that I say it, I like to be the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah. Be around the people who you want to be like.
I want to be the last wheel, and it's tough. Because as a man, Italian man, it is tough for me to be in active conversations where these guys will be talking about, whatever, right? I'd be like, oh, Dubai, this, and the tax in Vietnam and all of that. And I don't understand any of it, but I'm there and I'm surrounded by it, I'm listening, and then all of a sudden, that becomes my new reality. Versus me being at a barbecue and talking about the achievements to people that are not there yet. I would say more, I would do that as actively doing it to help them if they need me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't go out of my way to do it. I think I'll go out of my way to be the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
But that's me.
That comes back to where we were talking earlier about being out of our comfort zone. Being out of, because our comfort zone is with the friends and peers and the people in the same position that we are.
Yeah.
And yet doing what you're saying, putting yourself in a place where you're feeling uncomfortable.
Oh, it's tough.
And it takes humility. And it's the opposite of what you were saying about pride and being able to listen and be kicked in the butt, and go, okay,
the good thing about it, because this is my direct experience, the good thing about it is that if those people are truly above you, they would take respect on what you're trying to do, and they will let you in. So that's my direct experience. I know that some people realize that, and they still let me part of the conversation, and with a lot of grace. And sometimes whenever you meet people that try to bring you down, I feel like, because this is some of the feedback that I got from other entrepreneurs and other people that come to see me. Obviously, this is a place of, like, when I tailor the suits and I make them feel the most confident self, is basically
It's a safe space.
anything goes.
Like,
safe space. And they would say that, like, they would say something like, that somebody's trying to bring them down, and my coach, and they just say all the same things. Like, if somebody's trying to bring you down, they're below you because they feel uncomfortable you being where you are. So I think but it's very uncomfortable though. Like, as a person, I don't know. Like, how do you deal with the uncomfort within, like, let's say, a setting where people don't know you, and you're walking into a room and people don't know you? How do you deal with that?
I actually go back to dancing techniques,
Okay.
So like dancing techniques.
I'm
like,
interested.
You're interested.
I'm interested.
So in dancing,
The
you
curve,
have the
the
core
curve.
strength. We spoke. It's like core strength.
yes.
Having
Okay.
core strength, and then going. when you're down like that,
Slouch.
Yeah.
bring yourself up and just be really mindful of yourself. So the self-regulation and the core strength.
Yeah.
So I use body mechanics to be able to change my mindset. So, and then, another technique that I use is next time you go to like time zone, take your kids, take your family, take your partner, take your
Yeah.
friends, and go find
Go by yourself.
Or go by yourself. Or take your grandma. Go find whack-a-mole.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then like whenever you have these negative thoughts about yourself, you just whack them like that.
Yeah.
Because like you naturally get real human, you get these thoughts that pop up.
Yeah.
It's just how you acknowledge them and deal with them. So when they come up, whack them all, put them to rest until they come up again, and then you get really, really
Whack
good at
them
that.
again.
You whack them
So, body mechanics
again. Yes,
and whack-a-mole.
and whack them all.
Tell me your version of it. So you walk into a room, people don't know you. How do you deal with the discomfort?
I see, watch and look at everything.
Yeah?
Yeah, and listen.
So asking questions.
Yeah, well, I'll sort of stand back.
We're going to change
Yeah,
that. Don't worry.
yeah.
So this is the before. So this is the before. And we're going to come back and it's going to be an after. All right. Same question. So how do you deal with the discomfort when entering a room of people that don't know you?
First of all,
Okay.
I think when you're feeling confident about yourself,
Yeah.
you've got to work on becoming confident that you're going to cope with the situation, right? But I think that's also practice, and that means putting yourself into more and more uncomfortable situations where you're going to put yourself in front of people, whether that's going to networking groups, going to Toastmasters or some other thing where you're putting yourself out of a comfort zone. So being out of that comfort zone becomes more normal, and and like you said, you get to that next level. Driving a car, it becomes, well, this is a comfort level now. Then you go to the next level. When you start feeling comfortable, go to the next level, and just continue to try.
What did you call it? Stretching.
Stretching.
Yeah.
Stretching.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. It is stretching. I like it.
Like if you're doing weights.
Little by little.
If you're doing weights, you don't go to big weights first. But if you start on your little weights, and then when you get used to that, if you keep doing the same weights, there's no challenge,
don't
no
grow.
growth. Right?
But I thought when you said dancing, I was getting excited because
Yeah.
I thought
You just dance into the room.
no. Well, as a man, like Latin dancing, you go and ask to dance. In my case, people come and ask me, but I'm different. I'm different.
It's balcony.
It's on balcony. No, I sounded like a douche. No, I should. We'll cut this one. So as a man, you go and ask that lady to dance, right? So when you go, and this is, I can tell it from my perspective, if they say no, it's rejection right there and then, and everybody sees it because they're around the room, and you're walking around, and she's like, no. So then you go to the next one, no. So
And this one's watched these.
so it happens. It happens. So I think what you that is the discomfort. It's like the rejection.
Oh yeah.
So people will say no to you, and you gotta be okay with it. So if it happens now to me, I've got a lot of thicker skin, so I'm okay with it. Like this is in the dancing.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought you were talking about. You were gonna talk about how one, you learn to deal with rejection when dancing.
Yeah.
And two, probably also dancing and be able to control your body. Like
Well,
you
the body
talked
mechanics.
about body mechanics.
Like if you get rejected, how do you respond to that?
Yeah,
Do you-
exactly.
You slouch or...
Because I think that
Yeah, no worries. You can do it.
All right, next.
Because I think that
Asking yourself what is rejection, because all it is a no, and it's okay because you might have said no too. And
or it's a no right now.
that's right. And, the other thing is, if going into a room like that, the exception that I've got is try to stop thinking about myself. And if you're thinking about somebody else, you don't have as much fear. If you're really curious about what that person can share with you, you go in and ask a different mindset, and you're trying to find out things, and you're open to what they're going to say. You're not coming up going, hey, like me. You're going, what is it that we can connect on? And you're trying to be curious about that.
I've got a question for you, Bruno. Like in dancing, how does dancing help you with your elevator pitch?
I don't think there's like a specific correlation to elevator pitch, but the dancing for me was definitely a building of confidence.
Yeah.
So confidence builder. So I started dancing when I even remember, like it was like it was an unknown. There's two songs. One is La Bomba from Ricky Martin, and the other one is Salome from I don't remember the artist, Cheyenne. But the idea there is I went to my mom and I was like, how does he do that move? Like I was looking at the video clip and I was like, how does he do that, right? So then at the beginning I just associated with my own creativity and like my own identity. Be like, I don't know, I like this. I didn't know why, but I liked it, right? But then after that, it was about the correlation with women and, you know, being rejected and so on. So then I learned that by understanding what is it about for me. So dancing for me, it is about asking the girl to do the move that I want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's not about we'll do a choreography together. It's like I'll move. Yeah. Would you like to come through? So that is that's my philosophy.
Lead and follow.
In dancing.
Yeah.
So it's not do it because I'm doing it. It's almost like I'm asking you, do you want to come with me? Yeah. Right? So and then once I've done that and seeing the reaction, like seeing, it's like trial and error, and then seeing the reaction from the women that would dance with me, then that's built up my confidence, and then that is just part of my identity. Yeah. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely a lot that you can learn from dancing and leadership, and like that, you know, lead and follow. It's inviting someone as a leader. Look, you know, this is what's happening, but there is a time where you have to put your foot down and go, I'm going to assert control over the moment, especially in dance, because one, you're creating a risk, or you're going to hurt me, or, you know, like, or you might be in danger. So, you know, bringing back that control and leadership model, there are times for.
And you can tell everyone right now that you can't wait to dance with me, right?
Absolutely.
We haven't danced together yet. But
I will have to get John Luke on that.
You're warning. I'm going to tell you when.
Thursday night.
I think that's also about communication, because what you're talking about is going to lead, but there's a communication and feedback. Yeah. And I think that's also, even going into a room, be aware of what's going around as well. So that's.
I reckon the next interview I can organise something in a dance studio, and we can do like you know.
We'll try some stuff on. He won't do it.
No.
He won't do it. Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
When it comes to dancing,
you stand at the bar drinking. No way.
The 80s, bring back the 80s.
I love it. So before we close, I want to go around the table and tell me, and this is a tailoring question, and tell me how the way you present yourself is going to impact the perception of people of you, right? Like, how would they react when you dress the way that makes you feel the most confident? So today you're wearing a suit, and you know, like before we'd like dissect it a little bit, like you change your energy, smile on your face, but how do you think it's going to impact your business? So now you're walking into this ballroom as what's going to happen?
Well, I think people are not going to be standoffish. Yeah. You know, I walk in with a smile on my face rather than going, you know, and just having the confidence. Like, I feel much more confident now, and actually being able to approach people.
Yeah. And I feel like it kind of brings down that wall on both ends. Because even your wall is down, but I feel like on the other end as well, it's the seeing you for who you are and not who you appear like. So it's in a business setting, I think that's very important.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Yeah. How about you, Jacqueline?
Well, could I just like follow up on what you were saying? It's like, I think what you're doing is you're also raising the standards in the concrete industry. Like the concreting industry has been known for like all sorts of stuff. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Stubbies and subbies at 10?
Stubbies and singlets.
You know, but
you know, beer in one hand. You know, it's
You're walking in a suit like that, you know you're going to get respected, right?
yeah,
And I think it's
respected, or the boys will put shit on me. One of the two.
that's what having. You're not worrying
But
about
that's
the boys.
okay.
It's not for
That's
them.
okay.
And you know why
Yeah.
they put shit on you? It's because it's like, hey, I'm noticed.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
They might want to be like you one day.
Yeah. Don't wear it on site, right?
they're like the hardest work. I've never seen a cohort of people who work so hard and on their bodies. Like, these guys are
Amazing.
machines.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get AI to do that.
No.
Huh?
So tell me about you, Jacqueline, because I mean, today you are wearing one of our pieces together.
Yes.
Falcone.
Well,
Falcone
I'm wearing a
piece.
Falcone today, and this was specially designed for me by Bruno Falcone, and I didn't want to have a suit that was the same as everything else, because I'm not the same as everybody else. You know, every person's unique. So, and I wanted to bring in the elements of my business and what it is. So my company, Hildings, is built on trust, and we have a red logo emblem that represents that. And I wanted to be able to have a suit that was a visual brand identity, that when people saw it, they were like, oh, you know, and relate it back to, you know, Hildings and its brand. So it was very, very specific, and Bruno did very, very well.
I love that, because I do remember that we took a moment to talk about why, right? Like, why the suit, why the colors. And I feel like we did put a special attention onto your own personal brand, the brand that you're building. Like, how would that help, I guess, like when you walk into a room there of people that don't know you? Like, do you reckon it'll be maybe recognize, like,
I've been hiding under a rock and like not, you know, so this last 6 months and the next 6 months is really about me coming out as an entrepreneur, because I've been really busy, focused on delivering my projects and doing the work and just laser point focus. I'm now at the point where I'm starting to engage in a public setting, so I've got a lot to say and I have a lot of value to bring to industry and to, you know, relationships, stakeholder relationships and community. And
it's important?
oh, yeah, it's totally important. And to be able to be given the space, like the platform, yes, but to be able to given the, you know, every superhero needs a suit, right? So when we talk about what it's like to be a modern day superhero, you know, some of the things that people do in society aren't recognised because no one knows about it, right? So, you know, to be able to get on stage and represent yourself, that is something that's identifiable and your brand and who you are, I think is just, it's a great investment.
Oh, nice, amazing.
Thanks.
Tell me, you Les, like we work together now, and he already brought it for a spin.
Oh, no, beautiful.
You brought your suit for a spin out for a couple of times.
I love it.
But so, what is the impact that actually do you reckon already has had?
Oh, it's phenomenal, like you said. My way of thinking about it is there's a statement that says, don't judge a book by a cover, by its cover. Why is that? Why do people say that? It's because we judge books by their covers, and it's the same when you meet somebody.
Yeah.
I am an authority and authentic in my niche, in what I do, and I want to be presented like that. I have coaches for a whole lot of things, and I engage people who understand how to do something. Like I said, you want to be advised by people above your level to bring you up, right? And you gave me so much advice, and I'm like, this is the person I want to work with, because you can make me look like what I want to be presented by.
Yeah.
And that's happened. The change and the confidence it's given me and the presentation of my brand has changed because of the advice that you've given me. And so that's what's made a difference. And now I'm confident in moving forward. It's not a
Without
question
thinking
of,
about
I
it.
don't have to think about it anymore because
I love that.
That's the difference.
That's really
and
nice.
I know that that's sorted now, right? And we will continue to work together. I'll have more suits and shirts.
I just want to
Please.
also mention the why we're here today.
Why
is
are we here?
because
I don't know.
William has gone through exponential growth over the last 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And it was like his confidence had to get to the point where he was ready to walk through this door and have these conversations with you. And I remember when I first came into this, Taylor office, I was like, Bruno, one of my clients, William, McEwen, he's like heading for really big things and good things, but he needs someone who's going to nurture him through that growth period.
Yeah.
And
Here he is.
There he is.
I remember. No, it was like when he's ready, and I like that. And I like the idea. So tailoring, I know that you saw it and you lived it yourself, but for me, tailoring is about really understanding the why and really help you through that process. Because instead of saying, here's a blue suit, whatever, like that's it. It's like, but what are you trying to achieve, right? Like what are the rooms that you're trying to get in? What are the people that you're trying to talk to? Or how do you want to present yourself and your brand? So for me, those ones are very important questions.
Yes, well, honestly, straight down the line, there's no limit.
That's it. That's
There's
what
no
I like
limit.
to hear. That's what I like to hear. It's a different answer. Huh?
I think we're pushing right through this.
It's a
Does he know my business though?
You went through the manhole.
Success. There you go.
You went through the manhole. I like it. Yeah, no. So for me, like, it's very important to get you when you're ready to have those conversations. Because sometimes, like, if you're not ready and if you're not ready to open up and put down your walls, like, sometimes it might feel harsh with me because I'll ask you the questions and it's like, oh my God, let me go to Gucci instead.
Because then it's only then that you can be able to give direction, right?
Yeah.
If you're just going to put a suit on somebody, it's your choice, not going, okay, what's the outcome you're wanting?
Yeah.
And that's essential.
And I think, look, it goes back, one of the reason why I think it's going to be very good for a lot of people that's listening to this conversation, because you have, like, you have season, newer, even newer than newer into, like, the networking and relationships in business, which makes it all the difference, having those solid relationships. But to create those relationships, you're going to have to meet that person for the first time. And to meet that person for the first time and living like an authentic, good reaction and good memory, believe it or not, whether we like it or not, you're going to be judged on that first meeting. And all I do is just helping you, like, succeed on that first meeting. Right? So walking into, like, a networking event, like, you have 100 people in the room, 1,000 people in the room, whether we like it or not, and I see it from the outside, because obviously I'm a tailor, so, like, I'm always well presented, but I see it from the outside. And what happens is lions meet with lions and zebras meet with zebras.
There you go.
You wanna talk to lions, you gotta look like a lion. So sometimes it's like,
Even
so
if
that's
you
what
feel
I
like a
see.
zebra. There might be a lion, but
Yeah.
just a young
Yeah.
lion. But
So that's what I see. I see that the truth, the reality is that, sometimes people, they look at the lions working together and talking together and they feel outsiders or they feel like they cannot reach it. And I'll just give you a lion suit and then you can talk to them. William, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I think it is very important for people to understand that you can go to level 0 to level 6.
Well, no, there's no, like, 6 was an example.
It's
You're
in the
like
way.
limitless.
On the way.
Yeah, we're
But
just building the next level.
That's it. So you can go from like a state to another state, and you are like the person that shows us all that you can honestly do that change from you know, like your addiction and dealing and you know, like and bleak past to a radiant present
Yes.
to what who knows future. So that's great.
And that's great because
That's really
for
great.
comparison, like we're going, oh, we've got to make the shift, and then we go, oh, case study.
Yes.
With him, and you go,
Yeah.
you know what? I can do it too.
Yeah.
So that's
There you go.
brilliant.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
So-
it's inspiring.
So William, if you could think of, let's say that so the world is ending, you can't leave books behind, you can't leave anything written behind. You got time just to tell me in the next minute something that has changed your life. What would that be? And that will be the end of us.
The experiences and the events a person goes through in life makes them the best that
That's true. That is good. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you, my man.
Always good.
Lovely.
Very nice
Thank you,
seeing you.
lovely.
Thank you.
Awesome. To the next dance. Thank you.